So this is the second video on the Raspberry Pi Pico, and in this video we're going to have a look at how to download MicroPython and how to get our first program running. So the first thing you're going to have to do is press and hold the button on the front of the Raspberry Pi Pico and then connect to your computer. So I'm having to use a Windows computer because I'm recording the screen, otherwise I would use my Raspberry Pi and I think it would be a lot easier. So eventually that opens up a folder. You can see here it's been recognized as drive F on my computer. Within that folder are two files, and we want to open the index file, which will open a web page. So you can see it's opened the Raspberry Pi Pico page. And there's loads of information here, but we want this tab, which is getting started with MicroPython. So when you click that, it will open up here and it tells you what you have to do. And basically you have to download the UF2 file. So if we click that, it'll download, and as you saw in the bottom here, it basically took no more than about 2 seconds. So once it has downloaded, you can shut down that page. And then hopefully if you open the drive again and go to your downloads, there you go, you should find this folder, or this file I should say. Now if you click on that, you can even drag and drop it, or you can right click it, copy, go back to the Raspberry Pi Pico drive, and then if you drop it into there, that is all you have to do. As soon as that has done that, it will actually disappear, as it has. That is Python now loaded on to your Pico. Okay, so now we've got the MicroPython onto the Pico, we now need to look at how to get a program running. And this is where I struggled, because I'm using a Windows computer. I already have Python on the computer. I thought I could use that Python program, but you can't. You have to use Thonny. So if you haven't got Thonny on your Windows computer, head over to thonny.org and you can download it on the Windows link. Once it's downloaded, you then should be able to load a program onto it. However, you can run into another little problem, and I'll just show you, just so you understand what's going on. I'll open up Thonny. And when it starts running, it gives you this note down here. Could not find the device automatically. That's because it's not connected. Now if I try to connect it, it's too late. It's already crashed. So the best way to do this, and I can prove it's not working by going to File and Open. When I do that, it only goes to the computer. If you cancel that, close it down again and reopen it, this time you will get this note down here, and this grayed out comment down here says it is actually connected to the Pico. So that is a good start. Now with it connected to the Pico, you need to make sure down the bottom here you have selected MicroPython. Once you've selected that, you can then start to write your program. Okay, so we're going to write our first program, which will be to flash the built-in LED. So we'll open up Thonny, and when that opens up, we should see, yes, this statement down here which says it has connected to the Pico. So the first thing we're going to do, we've got to import a couple of things. So the import machine is to allow it to communicate with various functions with the Pico, and the time allows us to do a delay. Next we're going to define an LED. So that's machine.pin, and it has to be a capital P, and then we have to tell it what pin. That'll be 25 because that's the built-in one, and then we've got machine.pin.out. So it's a capital P again, and all out for output is also capitals. Now we're going to do a loop. while true with capital T, and we want our LED dot value 1. 1 is on, 0 is off. Now we'll do sleep for 1 second, and then I'm going to be lazy and just copy those two and paste those two, and then just change that one to 0 for off. So that should be our program done. Now if you click run, it will ask us where we want to save it. You can save it on your computer, you can save it on the Pico. So if you click it onto the Pico, you'll see I've already saved an LED one, so we'll go LED 2. As soon as I click OK, that will start running the code. So we now know everything is working. So now I'm going to show you another little problem I had. So this is still running, and I'm going to shut down Thonny. So this is still running. I'm now going to open up Thonny again. This time you won't see a message down the bottom until there. There you go. Device is busy or does not respond. So what that's actually saying is, because this program is already running, it won't communicate with the computer. So to get it to communicate, you have to use, as it says, Control-C. Now that stops the program. And when you stop the program, it will then start communicating with the Pico. So that's another little problem I had. The last problem that I had is, well, something I didn't really understand. I'll run the program again so you can see. So I will firstly open see, that's a notepad. I should have put .py after that, but there you go, it still runs it. So that is running. But this is what I found quite confusing. At the end of the day yesterday, I shut down the computer. And I can simulate it by pulling out the USB. So Thonny is now not running. Thonny is not running. So I can now unplug that, and obviously this is now dead. Now as I shut down my computer, that was what's happening. And when I started the computer the next morning, which I've just done by basically connecting the USB, nothing is happening. And that was quite surprising. The program does not automatically run on this until you do something. And that something is you have to call the program main. So you have to label it main.py. Then, as soon as you plug it in or turn on the power to the Pico, it will start running that program. Okay, so that's my quick look at how to get MicroPython running on the Pico and my first program. I said a lot of problems. They weren't really problems, they were just differences to maybe how I would use a Arduino board. For example, I'm used to putting a program onto the Arduino board and it running it, because that's its job, to run a program you tell it to. So the concept of actually storing lots of programs on your Pico and then having to connect it to a computer to select the program you want to run is slightly strange to me, but that's how it is. I now understand that if I want to get it to run a program automatically, it needs to be labelled or named main. So that's not really a problem, it's just a difference. But overall, I was really impressed with how easy it was to get Python to install onto it, and getting the first program up and running was quite easy. So I hope that's been useful for some people, and stay tuned for the next video, which will be soldering the headers. Thank you for watching.